Hi guys, it's Lynn with Curiosity Crochet. I wanted to do another video and it is another hat. I have some stuff in the works, but I wanted to make another hat with you guys because that last one was kind of fun. And you'll have to excuse me, I'm quite tired. I've had a few nights with not a lot of sleep, so I may be a little slow, which is probably a good thing, to be honest with you. But so today I am going to be using Caron Simply Soft because this works up a little thick and this is a little bit of a thinner 4. Now you can use a 3-weight, it would be the same thing. For this hat, you still can use any yarn you want. Like if you want to make a real thick hat, you could use a 5-weight or a thicker 4. I really wouldn't go higher than a 5-weight though, or else it's going to be real thick. It just works up pretty thick. But I'm going to use 3 colors. I've got what's left of this one for the brim, and then I'm going to mix these two for the top part of the hat. Normally these have 235 yards in them, and because we're using 2 colors, you really don't even need that much between the 2 of them. Hats work up pretty quickly. And for the brim, I mean, like, I have this little bit left is what I'm using for the brim. The colors just go together really nice. And I think the white in this is going to be real pretty. This one's stripy, so it'll change throughout the pattern, but it'll work up real pretty. So for the brim, now this yarn recommends 5mm, so I'm going to use that for the brim, but because it works up so thick and tight, I'm going to use a 6 for the top. So whatever yarn you use the recommended for the brim, or you could even go one size smaller for the brim so that it works up nice and tight, and then go 2 sizes bigger for the top of the hat, just because it works up so thick and tight. And I'm trying to make this more of like a spring hat. That's why I'm doing it this way. Now, I haven't worked this hat up yet. This is, I'm working it up with you guys, so we'll do it as we go along, and we will just get it done, I guess. So, as always, you need your hooks, you need scissors, and your tapestry needle, and then I suggest having a tape measure, because I always tell you can use any yarn, and if you're not going to use Caron Simply Soft, and I don't ever give like how many this or that, how many rows, because if you're going to use different yarn, it's just easier to measure it out. So like when we start, you'll measure out your chains to be the diameter of the hat, and when we make the hat, you'll measure the height of it. And I'll give you all that once we get going here. So let's get all our stuff put together and we'll get going. So I'll meet you back. Okay, once you've got all your stuff put together, you want a multiple of 3 with this pattern. And you want to land on a multiple of 3 that is an even number. Because for the brim, we're going to do something that works in an even number, and then the pattern on the top needs a multiple of 3. So you want to do 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 until you get your diameter, which it depends on who you're making it for. Now, the best way is to measure the head. But if you don't have a head to measure, or you're just making it, average size is 18 to 20 inches. Larger head, sorry, there is dog hair everywhere. A larger head is 20 to 22. For an average kid size, I would say anywhere from 10 to 15 years old, you could do like 15 to 18. so it's 15 to 18 for smaller, 18 to 20 for average, and then 20 to 22 for a larger head. Now, anything below that, I'm not real sure. I am going to be making a baby bonnet here pretty soon, so I will look up the measurements for that because it's going to be a newborn one. So, and I'm going to make a video for that one too, so I'll be able to start giving you measurements on baby sizes too. But so for this one, you just want to do a multiple of 3 that lands on an even number. So you know how like 3, 6 is an even number, 9, 12 is an even number, 15, and then 18. So, and I know 60 is a multiple of 3, and usually I land around 60 or in that area. So between, you know, like 60 or 66, or if your yarn's a little thicker, you'll probably land below that. So 57, and then it goes back to what I'm so tired, you guys. So 57 minus 3 would be what, 54? Somewhere in that area you're going to land on an even number. And that's all you want. You want a multiple of 3 on an even number. And I hope this is lit up good enough because I put the light behind me a little bit, and I hope this isn't too close. But so let's get our chains made. I hope I didn't over talk that. I'm going to make my chains and then we'll meet back. Okay, I took mine to 60 and it measures, let me pull this over a little bit so I can show you on screen. Mine measures, let me get it straightened out here. It actually measures a little over 18. So, and I have a pretty small head. I measured it around my head. But you do want it to start out a little tight. I always say that because hats tend to stretch the more you wear them. So you want to start a little tight so that it has room to stretch. So once you get your chains done, we are going to follow this down with our thumb so that it doesn't get twisted. And we're going to go all the way back down to the very beginning. And we are going to slip stitch into that first chain. Well, if I could, we would. And we are going to chain 2. Now we're starting with the brim. So right now this is just the brim. I am going to work in the back bumps so that it gives a nice clean edge. You don't have to do that. You can work in the normal stitch. So if you're looking at it this way like you normally work, if you just turn it over, you've got this back bump here. And the very first one sometimes is hard to see because it is attached to the slip knot. So if you just pull it a little bit, it'll pop up because you don't want to miss that one if you're going to work in the third bump. It's right here attached to the, and it is hard to work into. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to get into sometimes, but it is right here attached to your slip knot. But we're gonna do a round of double crochet. If I can get into this, we are going to do a round. There it is. See, I got in there. That's where the, but we're gonna do a round of double crochet. And I pulled that through. I don't know what is happening here. Hold on. Let me try that again. I told you guys, I am so tired, it's not even funny. But we are gonna get in here again. I'm gonna come through with my hook. And we are going to do our double crochet. And then we are going to work in that back bump. I'm not going to worry about crocheting that in today. We are going to work a double crochet into each chain around. So just one double crochet. And you can either do the regular way or you can work into this back bump. My yarn is splitting. So go ahead and put one double crochet in each chain all the way around, and I'll meet you back when we come up to the end here. Okay, once you come around, I'm at 59, and there's going to be one more. You don't want to miss that last one. Either way, if you're doing it the normal way or you're doing it in the back bump, you don't want to miss this last one. And the best way to know is to count your stitches. So you should have the same amount of stitches as you did chains. And when you do it the way I do in the third bump, it likes to twist on you. So just make sure it's not twisted. And then we're going to slip stitch in the top of that first double crochet to end that round. And now we're going to chain 2. And you don't worry about this first chain. We're going to work around this first double crochet. We're going to do a front post. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to go in through the side and go under the post. And you're going to pull up a loop and you're going to finish your double crochet. Okay? And then we're going to single crochet in the next. So don't work around this one. We're going to go around the next. We're going to yarn over and we're going to go under that post, bring up a loop, and finish your double crochet. And then in the next one, we're going to do a single. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to alternate them. So not around this one, but around the next. We're going to yarn over and go in the side here, go underneath, bring up a loop, and finish your double crochet. And then you're going to single crochet in the next. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to alternate a front post and a single, front post, single, front post, single, all the way around. So I'll show you one more time. Yarn over, go in the right side, and go underneath that post. Come out the other side. Grab your yarn, pull it through, finish your double crochet. And then single in the next. Now to make sure, you can look in the back and see that you're skipping one stitch back here from where it's front post. Because if you make a mistake and put the single where you front post, you're going to add stitches, and you don't want to do that either. So go ahead and do your front post, and and your single all the way around until you get back here, and I'll meet you back at the end, okay? Okay, when you come back around, you should be left with one front post and a single left. So you'll end with a single because you started with a front post. So your front post and then your last single. And you should be able to see this is your last stitch and these are your chains here, so that you don't want to work into your chains. This is where you slip stitched right here. So you do your last single and then you're going to slip stitch to the top of your first front post, and then we're going to just repeat that. You're going to chain 2, and then you're going to front post around the front post. So you're just going to do the same thing, and then we're going to single. We're just going to repeat the same exact thing. front post and single. So that's what we're going to repeat for the brim. You're just going to repeat that row over and over again until you get the width you want. Now you can make it as wide or as narrow as you want it to be, because this is your hat. Now we've done the one row of doubles, then we did one row of this, and we're starting the third round. I'm going to do a total of 5 and see how that looks, and then go from there. If I end up doing more, I'll let you know when I come back. But as of right now, I'm going to do 5 rounds altogether. So we're on our third. So I'm going to do 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to see how that looks. If I decide I want to go a little wider, I'll let you know when we meet back. Okay, so go ahead and get that done. Okay, I did just do the 5 rows in total. And I am going to do one more simple row real quick. We're going to slip stitch just like always. We're going to chain 1, and we're just going to go around and put 1 single crochet in the top of every stitch, just to have a base to start the top. So you're just going to go in and put 1 single in the top of every stitch all the way around. Okay? And I'll meet you when we come back around at the other end. Okay, when you come around, we have a couple left here. I'm going to do my last 2, and make sure you get that last one there, and don't worry about where the chains are, just where that last stitch is. And then we're going to, now you can tie off, like you can slip stitch and tie off here, because we're going to go to our other colors. I'm going to start with my white, if I can grab it here, but I'm going to bring it in like this. I'm going to slip stitch the white here to add it, and I'm going to chain 2 here, but I'm also going to change hook sizes. I'm going to grab my bigger hook, so this is my 6, and we're going to start the top pattern now. So what we're going to do is right there in the same stitch that we're slip stitched into, or if you tied off and you're adding the color, just go back into that stitch that you ended at, and we're going to put 3 double crochets in there. Now this first row might be a little difficult because we did the single crochets with the smaller hook, so just do your best, because that's what I'm going to do. There's no such thing as perfect, and my yarn is splitting, so don't mind me. So we're going to put 3 double crochets right there in that stitch. And I am struggling a bit here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2. And in the next one, we're going to put another 3. Okay, and we're going to skip 2, and we're going to put 3 in the next. So that's what we're repeating. You're going to skip 2, and in that third stitch, you're going to put 3 double crochets. Skip 2, and in that third one, you're going to put 3 double crochets. And my yarn is stuck. So go ahead and repeat that around, and I'll meet you when we come around here. Okay, when you come around, you should have 2 stitches left to skip. That's your slip stitch there. And we are going to, and you can detach that color from the brim because we're done with that. And we're going to slip stitch to that first double crochet we started with. So when you come around, you should have 2 left to skip, so it's just going around and meeting up. Now, if you notice, because we're using a bigger hook, this is going to bow out and let it, because that's what I'm going for. And then what we can do as we get a little higher in the hat, we can switch back down to our smaller hook so that it comes back in. Or you can just let it bow out, because I don't think it's going to be too bad. You can see where it's going right now. But now, actually, we're going to switch colors here. So let's not slip stitch that. Let's slip stitch our new color in, whatever colors you guys are using. So you go in like you're going to slip stitch, but make sure this is behind your work. Go in like you're going to slip stitch, grab your new color and slip stitch with that, and then pull that other one tight. And we are going to chain 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start back here. We're going to go backwards for a second, and then we'll jump to the next. So what we're going to do is we're going to work in these chain spaces, or well, they're not chain spaces, they're stitches, but we're going to work into those. And we are going to work in the first one, since there's 2. And after this, it'll change and I'll show you. But for right now, we're working into the stitches that we skipped. So you're going to work into that first one. And we're going to put those 3 double crochets in there. Now, if you want to, you can do chain 3 for this, so that there's more to work with. But you're going to go down there and you're going to put 3 double crochets in there. And I'm having a hard time seeing what I'm doing here, so I apologize. But we're going to put 3 double crochets down there. Okay? And this yarn is all kinds of splitting on me today. So that's where we're at. Now we're going to jump. I pulled on this. I'm sorry, you guys. Now we're going to jump to the next set that we skipped, and we're going to put 3 double crochets down there. So you're going to jump there and put 3 double crochets. So the colors are kind of working over each other. Now we're going to go to the next and do 3 double crochets. And that's what you're going to repeat around. Okay, so you're going to repeat 3 double crochets in each of these stitches that we skip down below. Okay, and I'll meet you when we come back around over here. Okay, then when you come around, you should have 1 left to do right here. So we're going to go in there and put our 3. 1, 2. And see, my yarn is changing colors, so there'll be a bunch of different colors going on here. And it is bowing out a bit. So like I said, when we get up a little higher, we can change hooks and bring it back in a little bit. So don't get nervous, because it can bow out for a little bit and then we can bring it back in. But this is gonna look like a flower, you guys. Look at how pretty. So we're gonna change colors, and you don't have to detach your colors, just wherever they're sitting so they don't get tangled. And I'm gonna sew in these ends or else they'll drive me nuts as I'm going. But wherever it's falling, so mine are sitting like this, so you want to coordinate it so that when you grab it, one stays. So like this is going to stay this way, and I'm going to pull this up. So I'm going to go in like I'm about to slip stitch, and I'm going to grab my new color, and we're going to change. You're going to change color every other row. Keep that tight, and then you're going to slip stitch to your new color. and you're gonna chain 2 or 3. I'm gonna do 3. And now this is what you're gonna repeat for every row until we're done. We did 3. So what you're gonna do is work into that middle one. And you're always gonna start backwards because you're closer to this one. So we're gonna go into that middle double crochet, and we're gonna do the 3 double crochets. And you're always working in that one below, in between everything. Okay? And then you just jump to the next, and you're going to work into that middle stitch. You're going to work 3 double crochets into that middle double crochet down below. And you'll always be working the same color into itself, basically. So you'll be working white into white, or whatever colors you're using. You'll be working the same color into that color. So then when we change again, we'll be working this color into that color. So next one, you go into the middle, and the stitch is going to be showing itself to you, the one that you need to work into. So it's not hard to see. So you just work those 3 doubles into each of the middle until you come around, and your last one will be here. And then you slip stitch and bring in your new color, and then do it again. So that's what we're going to repeat until we get the height that we want it to be. Now I'm going to take mine to about 7 inches, and then we'll do the closing. So if you want it to be like an average size beanie, you can bring it to 6 or 7 inches. So, and then anything above that will be a slouchy. So 8, 9, 10, just depends on how slouchy you want it to be. Or if you want to do it like me and just bring it to about 6 or 7 inches, that's perfectly fine. It's up to you. Now, if you want to bring this back in as we're going, you're going to want to do it to about half of what you're doing it. So say you're doing it like me and you're bringing it to 6 or 7 inches. When it hits 3 or 4 inches tall, switch your hook to the smaller hook, and then do the rest with the smaller hook. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit 3 or 4 inches, and then I'm going to switch hooks, and then we'll close it off with the smaller hook too. So go ahead and work that up, and then we'll meet back and we will close it up together. Remember, change color every other row and work in that middle stitch, and always start behind. So wherever you slip stitch, start in the one behind, and then work your way all the way around, finishing here. Slip stitch, bring in your new color, do that row, do the same thing, and then just keep changing your color. And we're going to make it look like a flower, you guys. And then we will close it up and we will have a hat. So I'll meet you guys back. Okay, now that you have your height done, however high you want yours to be. Mine's about 6.5 inches tall. We are going to still rotate colors here for a couple rows. So I'm going to drop this one and bring up my white. Doesn't matter which color you land on. And we're going to chain our 3. You should be on your smaller hook now. And instead of putting 3 double crochets, we're going to do 2 in the middle stitch now for this row. Just to keep this going for one more row. So we're going to put 2 instead of 3 in those middle stitches. Okay, so just go ahead and put 2 in each of the middle stitches around, and I'll meet you back over here. Okay, once you get all the way around and you've done your last two, you'll notice it's starting to come in a little bit now. We are going to slip stitch to that first one. Well, start the slip stitch. And we are going to bring in our other color. And we are going to chain 3. And now what we're going to do is we are still going to work in the middle stitch here, and we're going to put 1. We're just going to keep in the way the pattern is going, we're going to work this one last time like this. We're going to put 1 in the middle. This way we've brought all this in. Now, if you don't want, because this is going to be, see, I'm working this as we go, and now that I'm looking at this, I think we're going to do one more row like the last white row. We're going to put 2 in each. And then we'll bring it in a different way at the top, because I don't want to have huge gaps in this. And this, we're still working in the middle one last time. So just do 2 for this row. And then the next row we'll do something a little different so that we can bring it in. But this should bring it in a little bit too, because we're still working in 3s down here. So just put 2 in each stitch all the way around, and then I'll meet you back over here. Okay, once you come back around, see, and it did bring it in a little bit more. So I'm going to leave mine this color. Now, if you're not on the color you want to finish it off with, do one more row of that 2. And because there's only 2 here, just work it in the one that's showing more. See how that covers it up, and the second one is here. So just do one more row of the 2 in that stitch to bring it to whatever color you want to finish this off in. But I'm going to finish mine off in this color, so I'm just going to slip stitch with this color. And I'm actually going to cut the other one off because I'm done with that one. I'm just going to leave myself a little bit to sew in. And I use some of the color, but there's still plenty of both of these to even make another hat. So I am not worried about it at all. One thing I will say is that this, even though this yarn's a little thinner, it still works up kind of thick. So this would still be a nice like fall winter hat. And I like the way it bows out and comes back in. I really am enjoying this. And I think with these colors, it just looks like a pretty flower. Now, as I was working this up, I thought of another way to do this. So I might make another video on this same stitch, but worked up a little different. So that might be my next video, actually. I may do it tomorrow. We'll see if I get any sleep. But now what we're going to do is we're just going to work some half double crochets together. So we're just going to chain 2. I knew that split a little bit, but we're going to just work in the top of these stitches, and we're just going to go in. So the way I do a half double together is go in that same stitch you slip stitched in, yarn over and go in. And then the stitch next to it, don't yarn over, just go in and pull up a loop. So then you have 4 loops, pull through all 4, and that's your half double together. So yarn over, pull up a loop, don't yarn over and pull up a loop, 4 loops, pull through all 4. I will say this yarn is very splitty. I love Caron Simply Soft, but it is very splitty. So that's what we're going to do for this row, is we're just going to bring it together. And I think half doubles are nice for closing because you don't get the big gaps like if you use a double. And a lot of times I mix half double with single. So like I'll finish it off with single. And I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. Is we'll do this row of half double. I'm just going to do it along with you. I don't usually make you watch me, but I figure why not? We'll just get through this together. And I realized at the beginning of the video when I was telling you what yarn I was using, I didn't tell you what colors these were. The color for the brim, I don't know the name of because I don't have the label for it anymore. But then the white is just white. And then this color is called Teal Zeal Ombre. Just in case you guys were interested in the colors. And like I said, I don't know. I think that other color was just called teal, to be honest with you. It's just the solid. But I could be wrong. But, and again, you can use whatever colors you want. I just wanted to put that out there for anybody that was interested in the same colors I'm using. This phone stand that I use, because I use my phone to make these videos. I don't have a real good camera. And my phone camera is the best thing I have. But the phone stand that I got to do this with, the pole is always right in my view. So it always seems like I'm looking at everything through a pole. But anyways, this is your slip stitch, so you don't want to work into that. This was your last stitch here, so we're going to slip stitch it. And then I'm going to go, because this is still a pretty large hole, so I think I'm just going to do one more row of the half double together. Just all the way around. Instead of doing the single, just so that it gives you a little bit more oomph with the half double. Single makes it kind of it's a very short stitch, so I don't want to go too small here. Oops, see, it split on me again. At the time I'm making this video, it takes me a few hours when I make the hat with you guys. That's why a lot of the times I do it on I make the hat up and then I do it on a small scale, because this takes a lot longer because I have to make the hat, and I'd rather get it made quickly and get it uploaded for you guys. But go ahead and slip stitch. But anyways, it's getting towards dinner time now, and I've been going at this since, because, you know, like, you get interrupted, your mom, your wife, and I take care of my dad, too, so, like, you get interrupted in between doing stuff, and I'm getting hungry, I'm getting hangry, you guys. Plus, I'm crabby from not sleeping, so everybody's kind of glad I'm locked up in my craft room. But anyways, you're going to be left with a small hole, and we're going to cinch that. But here's my little trick. You're going to pull that up a little bit so it doesn't come out. And not the stitch you're slip stitched into, but the one right next to it. You're going to come in from behind, and you're going to grab this loop, and you're going to pull it to the inside, which brings the knot to the inside of the hat instead of it sitting on the outside. Now, not that it matters that much, but you can use this with other stuff too. So then, you know, give yourself, I left it such a small hole that you really don't even need as much as I'm going to cut, but I'm an overachiever. I don't know what to tell you. But we're gonna turn it inside out. I've got an end to sew in. Where did my, there it goes. We're gonna grab our needles, which mine's over on the other side, of course. And we are gonna cinch this tight. Now, if you already have a way of doing it, then that's awesome. I want you to do it that way because I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. But we're gonna go in and out of each stitch. So in one and come out the next. You're basically just going around each post. Don't go back in where you came out. Go in the next one and come out the one on the other side. And you just want to do that all the way around till you get back to where you started. And I think someone is knocking at my door, and they're really going to deal with the beast. I know you guys have to understand, because I know a lot of you are moms or grandmas or, you know, anything in that realm. And when you're in the middle of doing something and you're tired and you're hungry and someone interrupts you, that is like the worst feeling in the world. Okay, so you just go across a couple times, and my yarn fell off my needle. I didn't even realize it. You're just going to go across, you know, opposite from itself a couple times. And then one last time I go across, and I don't pull it all the way tight yet. Normally I don't, but it just kept going. I leave a loop, and then I come through it with my needle and pull that tight. And then just sew in your ends around the top here. Make it, well, it fell off one more time. I'm not going to make you watch me sew in my ends, but sew everything in, and then you got yourself a nice little hat. And if you made it slouchy, obviously yours will be a little taller than mine, but yeah, I think that turned out really cute. It's very, you know, if the stitch wasn't so thick, it would make a really pretty spring hat. I mean, the spring we're having here in Illinois, it could be a spring hat. It's rainy and cold all the time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you made a beautiful hat. My Facebook is on my top of my page if you want to check that out. I'd love to see your guys' hats, anything you've made along with me. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. That would be amazing. If you liked this, give me a thumbs up. And like I said, I'm going to work this stitch up a little differently, and I'm going to make another video tomorrow. So, but that one, I'm going to make this other one up tonight, and I'm going to do small scale tomorrow instead of working it up together, because I want to make sure it works out the way I'm thinking it's going to. So I want you guys to have a wonderful, wonderful day or night. I hope you're all staying healthy and safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.